Superior Court is now in session. The Honorable Reuben Green presiding.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Please have a seat. I don't think that microphone's working very loud. Can y'all hear me in the back? I'll speak up if that's not working. But good morning. I want to welcome you to Cobb Superior Court. I'm Judge Reuben Green. This is a special day for our court here. This is a special day for Veterans Court. It's a special day for these two men who have accomplished so very much in such a short period of time. Normally, we always start Veterans Court with the saying of the Pledge of Allegiance, but today we're going to do something a little extra special. The sheriff has provided his color guard, and the color guard is going to post the colors. And when they post the colors, then the Pledge of Allegiance will be led today by Army Major Bill Howerton. He is the one that coordinates all of our mentors, and you'll hear a little bit more about our great mentor program in just a few minutes. But if we would go ahead and post the colors, please. If you all would please rise.
Detail. Hope. Ready? Face. Detail. Ready? Step. Present. Hope.
Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. Hunt. Forward. Hunt.
Thank you. You may be seated. You guys able to hear me in the back? Can everybody hear me back there? Okay, I got a thumbs up. Good, good. It's a special day today, and we're celebrating two exceptional young men. You're going to hear a little bit about their stories today. You're also going to hear a little bit about what it is that we do in Veterans Court, how we're helping these veterans to get treatment for their underlying conditions that cause them, at least in part, to be involved in our criminal justice system. But first, we're going to start off with the invocation, and then after the invocation, we're going to hear about some of the special guests. Chief Judge Steve Schuster is going to introduce some of our guests and visitors that are here with us today. But I want to start by introducing Reverend Robert Surton. He's a friend of mine, and he's also got a very impressive background. I want to tell you just a little bit about him before he says the invocation with us this morning. It's my honor to introduce him. He was commissioned in the United States Air Force in 1969. He was an aviator who flew 100 missions over Southeast Asia in 1971 and 72. He was shot down, he was captured, and he was held as a prisoner of war in the Hanoi Hilton. In 1973, when the Vietnam War ended, he was released and repatriated back to the United States. After that experience, he attended the School of Theology in Sewanee, Tennessee, and was ordained a priest in 1976 after he received his Master's of Divinity degree. Later, he was awarded a Doctor of Ministry from the School of Theology. He continued to serve in our United States military as a chaplain both in the Air Force, on active duty, and as a reservist. In 1999, he retired from the Air Force Reserves as a colonel. I present to you my friend, Reverend Surton.
Let us pray. Almighty God, from the beginning of human history, you've placed us in environments where we can live with integrity, excellence, and service, and yet over and over we fail you and fall to the side. But in those times you call us to repentance and renewal, to set us back on the way, to bring us back in your presence, to be restored to community. We thank you for the opportunity in Cobb County that we can continue this mission of restoration and renewal and recommitment. We thank you for those men and women who have offered themselves as mentors in this court, and for those men and women who are finding new ways to serve you and this nation with integrity and excellence. These things we ask in your most holy name. Amen.
I didn't run away. Welcome, welcome. It is a proud moment for all of us to be here today. I'm Steve Schuster. I'm the Chief Judge of the Cobb Judicial Circuit. And Judge Green asked me to introduce everybody who's special. Well, every one of you is special. The Reverend Ike Reichard, Dr. Reichard, always talks about the team, and everybody is a member of the team, and every one of you has carried your weight in being here. I'm honored to introduce certain people, but don't think for a moment that every one of you has not done something important for this court and for the people it serves. We decided a number of years ago, and this decision was made with the sheriff and with the district attorney, that we could not jail our way out of drug addiction, mental illness, or veterans who come back with war injuries who do things. That we needed treatment courts. We now, in the Cobb Judicial Circuit, have a drug court, we have a mental health court, we have a veterans court, we have in state court a DUI court, we are starting a behavioral court in state court, and one of our crown jewels in juvenile court is our family dependency court. This is the vision of criminal justice in the future. We all know with the sheriff, and maybe most of you don't know, that he is probably the largest provider of behavioral services in North Georgia. And for that, we are working with him to try to better understand how to treat people. So I'm proud to be here, and I want to start by introducing, of course, our very special guest, Senator Johnny Isakson. Senator, thank you for being here. We could not do this without the County Commission. We have Chair Tim Lee, Commissioner Joanne Burrow. Did any of the other commissioners sneak in late? Okay. We could not do this without the Superior Court bench, and I'm just going to call out everybody's name because they are part of the team. Mary Staley, Judge Mary Staley, Judge Lark Ingram, Judge Robert Flournoy, Judge Adele Grubbs, Judge Tane Kell, of course Judge Reuben Green, who is hosting today, Judge Robert Leonard, Judge Gregory Poole, Judge Ann Harris, our senior judges Connolly Ingram, Judge Mike Stoddard, Judge Grant Brantley, who is here today, there you are, who is one of the instrumental people on Veterans Court, Judge George Krager, and Judge James Bodiford. And of course, our court administrator, Tom Sharon, who makes sure everything leaves on time and gets funded. Where did Tom hide? He's probably there making sure everything's going. We have from our state court, do we have any of our state court judges here today? Over here. Of course, from our juvenile court, we have Chief Judge Whitfield, Judge Stedman, who runs the Family Dependency Court, and Judge Jeff Hamby are all here today. And our Chief Magistrate, Judge Joyette Holmes, there you are. She's very shy, she's not going to stand up. Okay. And they're all here today. They are part of the team that provides treatment services across an array of courts. Of course, we could not do this without Sheriff Neil Warren. He provides services and protection and guidance to all of us, and Chief Judge Milton Beck, Chief Deputy. He calls himself Chief Judge when I talk to him. You're right.
Thank you.
Our District Attorney, Vic Reynolds,
Thank you.
and we have our various clerks. We have Ms. Davis here today from the State Court, Ms. Robin Bishop. We have some of our chiefs of police. I saw Chief Flynn somewhere in the back. There he is. We have Chief Westenberger from KPD who is here. And we have Assistant Chief Cheatham from Ackworth. I may have just promoted him. And I know we have somebody here from, is Chief Lee here from Smyrna or somebody on his behalf? There we go. We got somebody here for them. And who else have I missed? I know I've missed some other important people. And we want to thank all of you for being here. And with that, I would like to turn it back over to you.
I want to take just a minute to explain what Veterans Court is and what we're doing here each and every day to help our fellow veterans with this process that they're going through. Over the last several years, we've noticed in the Superior Court that we're seeing more and more veterans come and get involved in our criminal justice system. The DA's noticed that, the sheriff's noticed that, and as a result, we started thinking, is there a way that we can address this increasing trend of seeing these veterans come into our criminal justice system? So we started looking at the statistics to see whether there was a need in Cobb County for a special court for veterans. We learned that 5% of our prison population are veterans. 5% of the people serving in those beds in our prison are veterans. We learned that 7 to 10% of the veterans in the state of Georgia live in this county, Cobb County. About 50,000 veterans live right here in Cobb County. We learned that there's 4,500 active duty and reservists at Dobbins Air Reserve Base, just a few miles south of where we're sitting here today. And we also learned that there's more than 1,000 National Guardsmen that call Cobb County home. It's the highest single county population of National Guardsmen in the state of Georgia. So we have all these numbers, and we thought, okay, well, we need to verify with the sheriff as to whether there are a bunch of veterans going into our jail system or if it's just something we're sort of seeing and noticing finally. So we had Sheriff Neil Warren start looking and taking the numbers to see how many veterans are arrested in Cobb County. And we learned that about one every single day goes into our jail. One of my brothers and sisters goes into our jail every single day here in Cobb, and that doesn't take into consideration each of the municipalities throughout Cobb. So just those numbers alone, we thought we probably need to do something. We need to look at this issue. But the statistic that is the most sobering, the statistic that is the most troubling, is that 22 of our brothers and sisters are taking their lives every single day. 22 of us are killing ourselves because we are not receiving the treatment that we've earned through our service. That statistic in and of itself should be sufficient that each and every one of the people in this room that cares about veterans should want to do something to help them. So we decided we need to look at these things called veterans courts. We were the 4th veterans court in the state of Georgia. There's now 14 in the 2 years since we started our program. 14 that have spread across the state of Georgia. They're all being researched by Applied Research Services to determine what the best practices are, and I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. But veterans courts are similar to our other accountability courts. You heard Chief Judge Schuster talk about the other courts. The concept is the same, and the concept is simply that we're treating the underlying issue, whatever that is, in the hopes that by treating that underlying issue, they're not going to return to our criminal justice system. We've learned through our drug court here in Cobb County that the recidivism rate for those that successfully complete drug court is 7%. For those that don't, that are addicted to drugs, that go the traditional court process, probation, jail, or prison, it's over 30%. So to put that a different way, if you don't go through an accountability court, you're 4 times more likely to commit another criminal offense within 3 years. So we've got to do something to address this, and that's what these accountability courts are all about, just like our Veterans Court. They're problem-solving courts. We address the obstacles in the veterans' success, in the way of their success. We address whatever those issues are. We take them one by one and try to work through them, whether it's mental health, whether it's substance abuse, whether it's housing or employment or family counseling, whatever the issues are, we attempt to address that by working together as a team. It's a minimum 18 months long, but you'll see today, almost 2 years into the program, we're having our first 2 graduates. It's not about it being an 18-month-long program. It's about them receiving the treatment they need for as long as they need it to successfully complete it. And that's what we're seeing. About 2 years, it looks like, for most of them to be graduating from the program. Of course, they're all veterans. Each of them signed that proverbial blank check up to and including their lives. Each one of them volunteered to protect us, our way of life, our right to assemble here today. Each one of them volunteered to do that, and they have to volunteer to enter this program. We're not ordering them to do it. They have to choose to do it, choose to get the treatment that they've earned through their service. We have a lot of folks that volunteer to assist us in that program, and of course they all have to be eligible for some sort of benefits, VA benefits. They've earned those services. We want to start the treatment with the VA, and then we've learned, because we're accepting high-risk, high-need individuals into the program, high risk of reoffense, high need as far as treatment, because we're accepting those type of people, the ones that need the treatment the most, by taking those folks, we've realized they need more treatment than what the VA provides. VA does a great job of the initial treatment, but we've learned that they need more treatment than what the VA provides. So we partner with private providers, and I'll talk about them in just a second. You, of course, have to be charged with a crime in Cobb County. These are all people that have been involved in the criminal justice system. We're not talking the 7 deadly sins. We're not talking murder and rape and armed robbery, those type of things. But you have to be charged with a crime, be involved in the criminal justice system to get into the program. And then, most importantly, you have to have some condition that needs treatment. So for lots of them, it's post-traumatic stress disorder. For lots of them, it's substance abuse. For many of them, it's other mental health conditions or other physical issues that need additional treatment. We started our program June of 2014. Like I said, it was the 4th in the state. There's now 14, I think, I hope my number's right. I think it's right. We've got now 29 participants in the program, 29 veterans that we're helping in this program currently. We also have 7 that have applied for the program that we've just not been able to accept yet. And we pair each of these up with one of our volunteer veteran mentors. We've got 36 volunteer veteran mentors that help each and every day with these guys. Many veterans were taught to be tough. We're taught to have sort of a warrior's mentality. And so admitting that you have some sort of problem, admitting that you have some sort of issue that needs help, is kind of hard for many of us to do. And that's why many veterans don't seek that treatment. They don't go to the VA until they've really hit a place in their lives where they have to. And many of our guys fall into that category. If they don't get that treatment, then they become one of those statistics, one of those 22 veterans that take their lives every day. Most of the folks that are referred to our Veterans Court are at that rock bottom spot when they come into the program. Most of them are homeless. Most of them feel helpless. Most of them are in despair. Most of them are suffering from alcohol and drug dependency. Most of them have mental health conditions. They come to us at rock bottom, and on day one they appear before me oftentimes in shackles and in their jailhouse uniform. And each week I have the honor of presiding over and watching these men and these women come before me each and every week and seeing a dramatic transformation. I see them go from that despair, that hopelessness, to men and women of pride and purpose again. And it's amazing. You're going to see 2 of these men here today. You'll see the transformation that's gone on in their lives, and it is truly amazing. Our goal with Veterans Court, as with most accountability courts, first is to increase public safety by reducing recidivism. I spoke about the 7 versus 30% recidivism rates. Provide more intensive treatment. We use WestCare, a private care provider, on top of the treatment that's provided through the VA to provide additional treatment. We want to turn these men and women back into taxpayers instead of tax burdens. If I send one of these people, or one of my fellow judges sends one of these people to jail or prison, we're paying a lot of money to house that person in jail or prison. In addition, we're taking up bed space that could be used for the type of people that need to be in jail or prison to protect the rest of us. If instead we treat them, they get out. Most of our veterans are working. Most of them are supporting themselves. They're helping to pay for their treatment, and they're supporting their families. That's a big difference. Taxpayers instead of tax burdens. The treatment team is key to the success of this program. And I want to go through and just recognize a few of the treatment team, the men and women that work very hard each and every day to help our fellow veterans, to help them through this process. First of all, I want to introduce Flynn Brody. He's our Veterans Court Coordinator. You got to stand up. I'm going to embarrass you, so stand up. He's our Veterans Court Coordinator, and he's also a retired Army First Sergeant. Next is Christy Garrett. I think Christy's here. Yep, stand up. We're going to embarrass you too. She's our treatment coordinator, or she coordinates the treatment in each of the 3 accountability courts, so she crosses over between all 3. Are our folks from the Veterans Administration here? I know Catherine Andretti is our VJO. She is here. Okay, good. She's in the back. Most of our veteran participants are eligible for services through the VA. So like I mentioned, we start with their treatment through the VA, and then once we've exhausted substance abuse treatment, once we've exhausted trauma recovery program, PTSD treatment, then after that we move on and do private care treatment as well. But the VA has been a good partner with us, and Catherine Andretti is also an Air Force veteran. She also served our country as well. So our WestCare is our private treatment provider, and I know there's a lot of people here from WestCare. They provide the additional treatment for our high-risk, high-need individuals that need that additional level of treatment. I know there's lots of folks from WestCare here, but I do want to recognize the 2 that are in with us and staffing almost every single week and that are working with these veterans each and every day, and that's Ray Cox, our WestCare Program Manager, and Conrad Valsey, who is our Substance Abuse Officer. And Mr. Valsey is also an Army veteran as well. Of course, we couldn't do this program without Cobb County Sheriff Neil Warren. He's been instrumental in all 3 accountability courts from the beginning in supporting these programs and supporting our Veterans Court in particular. He's also provided us with 2 investigators that do an outstanding job of helping our participants to be accountable. That's part of the program, being accountable and doing what you're told to do, getting the treatment that you've earned through your service, but taking it seriously, taking it one day at a time and working on that treatment. So he's provided us with investigators Michelle Mejia and Jason Church. I see Jason Church in the back. Oh, yep, there we go. They do a great job of helping our veterans remain accountable. They verify jobs, they verify housing, they go by and check on the housing sometimes in the middle of the night to make sure our veterans are where they're supposed to be when they're supposed to be there. Of course, we also couldn't do it without District Attorney Vic Reynolds. I think he had to leave, but he's provided us with Assistant District Attorney Kim Schwartz, who's our Accountability Courts Coordinator. Our Circuit Defender in Cobb County is Randy Harris, and he has provided us with a defense representative that sits at the table as well, and that's Grady Moore. Would Randy Harris and Grady Moore please stand up? Mr. Moore also previously served as the Accountability Courts prosecutor and helped us to establish our Accountability Court, so we're glad to have him back as the defense representative as well. Our Community Supervision Officer is Lauren Henry. Some of our, Lauren, if you please stand up. Some of our participants are pre-adjudication, meaning that they likely do not have a criminal history, meaning if they complete the program, they won't have any conviction on their record will be expunged. So many of them are pre-adjudication. Others are post-adjudication, which means that they've entered a guilty plea, they've been sentenced, they're on probation, and those that are on probation are supervised by Officer Henry, and she makes sure that they're, again, held accountable, doing the things they're supposed to do. And I've got the honor of serving as the judge that presides over Veterans Court most week. And it's an honor, truly an honor, to see these men and women and their transformation from day one as they go through the program and have success after success. If I can't do it, then Senior Judge Grant Brantley, come on, I'm going to embarrass you too. Senior Judge Grant Brantley fills in for me when I'm at conference or vacation or whatever else. He's the one that typically I turn to help out. Unlike me, a lowly enlisted Marine, he served as a brigadier general in the Air Force and Air National Guard. So, and then if Judge Brantley and I can't do it, we also rely heavily on Senior Judge Jim Bodiford, who, like me, was a lowly Marine. So I don't think Judge Bodiford's here, though, but he's also done a great job helping us. Now I want to talk about the 2 things that really make Veterans Court special: the participants and the mentors. The mentor coordinator is Army Major Bill Howerton and Marine Sergeant Major, both retired, Marine Sergeant Major Ernie Hines. Major Howerton, I'm going to stand up and embarrass you. I'm going to get him. I'll get him in a second. I'll get you all in a second. Just a second. He's jumping the gun. He does that, so he takes charge.
One team, one fight.
Yeah. he takes charge, and both him and Ernie Hines have really done a great job of setting up a great program of mentors. And I want to talk just a little bit about that. That's one of the special components about Veterans Court. It's one of the things that makes Veterans Court so unique. Our drug court, we've started to do sort of a mentor program, so that at least they have some sort of program that's similar to that, but our mentor program is special, and it's been deemed very special by Applied Research Services, who is conducting an independent research on all of the Veterans Court across the state of Georgia. And in reviewing their most recent report, they said our Veterans Mentor Program is the model program for the state of Georgia. The model program. You all are the model program that other courts are looking to as an example about how they can set up Veterans Mentor Programs as well. We've got 36 volunteer veteran mentors that give of their time and their patience sometimes and their wisdom, and meet with these guys on a regular basis, attend court every Friday at 9 a.m. And they really do an exceptional job of being matched up, for the most part, one-on-one with these participants. And it's a unique relationship. Anybody that's served in the military, you have a unique connection to other veterans. You have the ability to communicate with other veterans that sometimes civilians and veterans don't always have that ability as well. So pairing them up one-to-one, as many characteristics as are similar as possible. You know, same branch if we can do it, enlisted with enlisted, officer with officer, whenever we can do that, we try to do that so they have as many characteristics in common as possible. And they're basically just a mentor. We've all had mentors in our lives, someone that's helped us along in our career, our profession, our religion, our school, whatever it is. We've all had mentors that have helped us along the way. I tell you, if you're a veteran and you're not one of our mentors, we need you. We need more mentors. We've got 7 men and women that want to come into this program, and we don't have enough mentors to match up to do that yet. So we're looking for mentors, whether you're watching on Channel 23 or on WSB, or you're here in this audience right now, or you know of other veterans that might serve as mentors. We need you. Reach out to Major Howerton or reach out to my office so that we can get you lined up and hopefully serving as one of our mentors. I'm so proud of each of you mentors and what you are doing for our fellow veterans, giving them a hand up and helping them through the process. Will all of our veteran mentors please rise so we can recognize you? Now, I've recognized a lot of veterans in this room, but if you're a veteran and I've not recognized you, or Judge Schuster has not recognized you, will you please stand up so we can thank you as well? All right, so now let's move on to the speakers, and then we're going to move on to what we really want to hear, and that is about these 2 exceptional young men that have really succeeded in this program and are doing great things in their lives. But I want to start by introducing Senator Johnny Isakson. Johnny Isakson is, in my mind, the very definition of a servant leader. After a successful business career in the real estate industry, he's served the citizens of Georgia in many capacities. He served in the Georgia Air National Guard. He served in the State House, the State Senate, the U.S. House of Representatives, the United States Senate, and he also served as chairman of the Georgia Board of Education, a true servant leader. Senator Isakson is serving the 2nd term of the United States Senate, and he's the only Republican that chairs 2 different committees, Senate Ethics and also the Senate Veterans Affairs Committee. I can tell you firsthand that when I had a problem getting treatment for one of my veterans in Veterans Court, I went to Senator Isakson and his staff. They reached out to the VA. They set up a meeting with me and at that time Director Leslie Wiggins to address the issues and figure out how we could communicate more effectively. And it's helped dramatically in this program to open that line of communication. And I'm grateful for the help of the Senator and all of his staff. Senator and his wife Diane have been married since 1968. They have 3 grown children and 9 grandchildren. I present to you Senator Johnny Isakson.
Judge Green, thank you for what you're doing for the veterans of Cobb County and the veterans of our armed services. This Veterans Court is a great crowning jewel of our county's court system and justice system. To Brandon Musser and Willis Hatfield Ravis, get it right?
Yes, sir.
Most of them is women that have hyphenated names. I didn't realize that. Thank you for letting me be at your commencement service and your graduation today. And I'm very proud of you. I want to thank you for a couple of things. Thank you for serving your country. Thank you for standing up for liberty and freedom. If you had not done what you did when you volunteered and went in the military and stood guard for us, this courtroom wouldn't be here today. The press that writes freely about what we say wouldn't be here today. I would not be here today, and the freedom and liberty that we enjoy as Americans would not be here today. America begins and ends with those who volunteer to fight and are willing to sacrifice their lives for the greatest country on the face of the earth. So thank you very much for what you've done. Thank you for being a part of this program. You know, there's a reason why graduations are called commencement. Most people think graduation is the end of some part of their education in life. If it was the end, it'd be called terminal. It's called commencement because it's the beginning of the next chapter in their life. Whether it's a high school graduation, whether it's a college graduation, or whether it's a graduation from a program like this. We are blessed in our county to have had leadership in the past and leadership today that recognizes the need for mentorship and the redirection in life and to end recidivism and to begin some new days dawning for our veterans, for those that have addiction problems, and for our youth. A lot of people don't know this. One good thing with old age is you remember a lot of good events. I remember one of the good events in Cobb County was when Judge Rex Ruff, the juvenile court judge, worked with 3 Superior Court judges at the time to begin the juvenile court in Cobb County. One of the first things done in that juvenile court was something called Court-Appointed Special Advocates, CASA. Cobb County was the first county to take a CASA grant and put that program together. That program took young people who had their first brush with the law, were probably likely to have another one down the line and become a recidivist, and instead get them into a program with a special mentor to help get them through a troubled time in their life and get them on a road to recovery. That program still works today because the mentorship is the key component in helping somebody get away from a bad problem and into a good situation. Now let me tell you something. Most of us in this room know what drug addiction means. I've had it in my family. I know what it's like to have to deal with that. And I know what getting rid of an enabler and getting a mentor in a situation like that it can make all the difference in the world. But once the situation is turned around, once somebody comes back from where they were, every day is a work in progress. Every single day these two men confront from now on will be a challenge. But it'll be a challenge built on a foundation that Reuben Green and this Superior Court system in Cobb County helped to build to give them a second chance and a new beginning. So as we commence the new beginning for Willis and for Brandon, we ought to give thanks to the good Lord that we have people like Willis and Brandon who've been willing to sacrifice for each one of us in the past. And we've reached out our hand to help them today. And in the future, we'll help others who get into the same type of problem. Reuben talked about the 22 a day in suicide. It's 8,000 a year die from suicide in veterans. Interestingly enough, more of them are Vietnam veterans than Afghani or Iraqi veterans. But that's because we didn't even recognize PTSD or TBI in the Vietnam War. We gave people opioids and ways to mask the problem, and we never treated them, and they ended up taking their own life or having a life that was a terrible life of addiction. We now know what PTSD and TBI are. We now have warrior transition units where when our soldiers leave DOD active duty and go into the VA, we can identify people with PTSD and TBI problems, and instead of stigmatizing it, which so many times healthcare people do, we've emboldened our soldiers to tell us the truth. Are you having trouble sleeping? Are you having some of the telltale signs of PTSD and TBI? And if you are, don't run away from it. We can help you. And every day on Claremont Road at our hospital, and every day in our C-Box around the state, every day in Dublin, Georgia, and Augusta, we're helping turn lives around medically and clinically because we're dealing with PTSD and TBI. In fact, I did an interview with a young lady coming out of Augusta not too many years ago, about 3 years ago, who had been severed out of the military because she had PTSD. Went back to the VA in Augusta. They put her back in training. They dealt with her problem, and she re-enlisted in the military and went back to Afghanistan with a healthy person about working for her country. That's because we intervened, we gave her a mentor, and we didn't give up. In drug addiction and in problems like this, timing is everything. These two gentlemen were lucky enough to have a time in their life where they came in contact with Reuben Green, with our sheriff, and with Cobb County. And with their commitment and our county's work, their lives have been reclaimed and turned around, and they'll be shining citizens in this country for years to come. But there are lots more of them waiting out there, lots more Brandons and a lot more Willises. And we've got to stand ready to tell them we'll welcome you in. We want to help you turn your life around, because when your life turns around, America turns around, and we're all better off for it. So as chairman of the Veterans Affairs Committee in Washington, D.C., and a member of the United States Senate, as a citizen of our country, as a citizen of Cobb County, let me thank you for being willing to volunteer for this program. I want you to not just be a role model today, but every day. I want you to become a mentor. I want you to tell your story. So we go out in the community and we bring in those other people that are having problems in our community. Let them reclaim their lives and turn their lives around. When we do that, we have won the ultimate victory of mankind, and that's to bring back a life from the abyss. So thank you for your service to the country. Thank you for volunteering for the program. Judge Green, everyone in the room that's participating in our Veterans Court, God bless all of you, and God bless the United States of America.
Thank you, Senator. Next, we're going to hear from Colonel Thomas Blackstock, Jr. He's the U.S. Property and Fiscal Officer for the Georgia National Guard. He enlisted in 1982 and was commissioned in 1986. He received his bachelor's from Georgia Tech, master's of business administration from Toro University International, and master's of strategic studies from the U.S. Army War College. He's commanded guardsmen at all levels, at the company level all the way to the brigade level. He served in Operation Desert Storm and Desert Shield, and also in Operation Enduring Freedom. He's responsible for, get this number, he's responsible for an annual budget of $500 million and is accountable for $3 billion in federal property. I present to you Colonel Blackstock.
Senator Isaacson, Chairman Lee, Judge Green, and the many, many distinguished guests that the judge already mentioned. But most importantly, to our two graduates and your family and friends. On behalf of Brigadier General Joe Girard, the Adjutant General of Georgia, and the 15,000 soldiers, airmen, and civilians that make up our organization, thank you for including us today and allowing us to participate in this historic inaugural graduation ceremony. I'm always honored to stand amongst fellow veterans, men and women who stood for something that's far greater than themselves and proved their resilience in the face of much adversity. Today I see that resolve on display once again. After 18 months of self-sacrifice, personal reflection, and commitment to yourselves and to your community, the two of you stand boldly at a new doorway of opportunity. Mr. Hatfield-Rivas and Mr. Musser, congratulations today on your accomplishment. Through the guidance of your mentors and in partnership with law enforcement, legal, and medical professionals, you've both completed the 4 phases of the treatment program and secured a fresh start for your lives. Through the Cobb County Veterans Treatment Corps program, all of those participating have proven their desire to continue serving this community and create new opportunities for themselves. You've chosen to be productive, contributing citizens. As veterans, all of you understand the importance of mission accomplishment. You possess the will to see the mission through to its completion, and because you are standing here today, you've accepted the mission of self-preservation and personal improvement. You're all survivors, strong in your resolve and in your self-discipline. Some of you may have stumbled along the way, but your rise after the fall is what defines you on this special day of graduation. This may be the end of a year and a half of structured treatment, but as the Senator said, this is the beginning of a new chapter in your lives. Many of our veterans who enter this program and programs like this are homeless, unemployed, and battling personal demons. Judge Green gave you several statistics. I have a few as well. 1/3 of Americans veterans today are homeless and 10% are unemployed. Alcohol, drugs, and mental illnesses plague our veteran communities and wreak havoc on personal and family lives. While the warrior mentality allows us to endure great hardship, it also can act as a roadblock to seeking professional treatment. Research has shown that 1 in 5 American veterans has symptoms of some mental disorder or cognitive impairment, and 1 in 6 veterans who served in Operation Enduring Freedom and Operation Iraqi Freedom suffer from substance abuse problems. In addition, many combat veterans have experienced post-traumatic stress disorder and traumatic brain injury. Left untreated, these problems can continue to plague them throughout their lives and create significant personal and legal issues. In the same way that a soldier fights through physical injury on the battlefield, veterans can choose to go it alone when it comes to this psychological trauma. In many situations, pride can often cloud our better judgment. We want to be independent, and we want to deny any assistance from others. That can lead a person very quickly into being overwhelmed and overcome by responsibilities. The problems manifest themselves in both their professional and private lives, and they create the opportunity for new vices for comfort. Families are fractured, and in many cases, lives are torn apart. As our brothers and sisters in arms, you have to know that you don't have to bear this burden yourselves. Americans and the state of Georgia owe it to our veterans to repay their selfless sacrifice and give them the support and the resources that they need to ensure that they return to independent, empowered, self-sustaining, and well-equipped civilians. This program has clearly taken on that charge and offered a positive alternative. Rehabilitation rather than incarceration has provided all of the graduates and all the participants a second chance. The phenomenal help provided here ensures that we don't leave our fellow warriors behind on the battlefield. Through community support, individual and group therapy, legal meetings, and administrative processes, today's graduates have found their way forward. You've remained honest to yourselves and to the program. Everyone here established clear goals in conjunction with your mentors and the staff, and you saw those goals through to completion. By remaining focused and motivated, you've once again risen to the challenge as you did so many times in your military careers. Mission accomplished. But the challenge and the support doesn't end today. As you go forward, all of you will continue to use the many resources of Cobb County. These include housing assistance, financial planning, vocational rehabilitation, and employment strategies. You can enroll in many educational programs through places like Kennesaw State, Chattahoochee Tech. I think one of you is enrolled at Chattahoochee Tech, and other colleges. I encourage you to continue accepting treatment through those behavioral health programs and maintain support networks. Be active in your community and find constructive ways that you can become help to other veterans. And while each individual that graduates the program, you experience your own personal benefit, there's a benefit to our county as well, as we reduce the cost of incarceration, the potential cost of incarceration. To you, Judge Green, and the mentors and staff and administrators of the Cobb County Veterans Court, thank you for what you do. Your service to Georgia's veteran community is greatly appreciated. Time and time again, you've placed your faith in the mentees of the program and given them hope. You've lit the path when many only saw darkness. Mentors dedicated themselves by providing valuable advice and guidance. You identified goals. You helped the mentees accomplish those goals. To everyone who makes this program the success that it is today, thank you. We veterans are part of a very special, very exclusive club. Less than 1% of the U.S. population have stood to defend the people of our nation, and we are all members of the same family. Our veterans have deployed all over the world, spilled blood on foreign soil, and endured great sacrifices. Some have even paid the ultimate price. Although everyone has unique experiences in their service, we all share a common bond and understanding. The price of our freedom has been paid 1,000 times over by Georgia's veterans returning from combat. We all process experiences differently, but that's why we must all unite in our experiences and support each other. Every year our veteran community grows smaller. We have an obligation as members of this same exclusive club to watch out for one another. I'm grateful that such support like this program exists today. By being here today, you've taken the first step. The next step may be a challenge, but I know that if you waver or you tumble backwards, there will be somebody there to help you. I'm humbled to see how both the mentors and the mentees of this program have all come together in one voice to say, I've got your six. Again, thank you for allowing me, on behalf of the Georgia National Guard, to be a part of today's historic graduation. I'm honored, and I wish you the best as you move forward.
Thank you, Colonel. Appreciate your words. We're going to attempt to play a video. As is often the case, technology does not always work, so we're going to try. We're going to play a video from Senator David Perdue. He's our junior United States Senator from the state of Georgia, and he wanted to be here today, but alas, Washington called him. So So he's not able to be here, but he did want to send a personal message to both of our graduates today. So we're going to attempt to play that if we can.
Hi, I'm David Perdue, and I want to personally congratulate both of you on your graduation from the Veterans Court Program, and thank you for your service to our country. Today is an important milestone for each of you. You have overcome obstacles that many people could not fathom, and you're an inspiration to your comrades, peers, families, mentors, and community. Through perseverance and pure determination, you've survived war, overcome addiction, and refused to revert back to old habits. You took your life and your career into your own hands by enrolling in school to continue your education. These positive decisions and the investment you've made in yourself have the potential to change your life forever. Veterans Court has given you a reset button, and your success is now up to you. I and everyone here with you today believes in you and wishes you the best. Today, we also recognize Judge Green, his administration, and your veteran mentors for their commitment to Veterans Court. Their compassion and willingness to serve those who served our country has provided you and others with an opportunity to enjoy successful lives. I wish you both great success in life, and thank you again for your service to our country. Congratulations, and God bless each of you. Thank you.
Next, we're going to hear from Mac Parnell, who serves as field representative for Congressman Barry Loudermilk. Congressman Loudermilk, like Senator Perdue, could not be here, but wanted to send a letter to read today by Mr. Parnell. Mr. Loudermilk, Congressman Loudermilk, of course, is an Air Force veteran as well. So, Mr. Parnell.
Congressman Loudermilk sends his regrets for not being here. Unfortunately, they have votes on the floor of the House of Representatives today, and they've been dealing with opioid addiction, some legislation dealing with opioid addiction this week. So he sends his regrets and wanted me to read this letter on his behalf. To the graduates of the Cobb County Veterans Court, thank you for making the choice to serve our great nation by wearing the uniform of our armed services. Your devotion to our country is greatly appreciated and admired. Your willingness to better yourselves and help better our communities by participating in the Cobb County Veterans Treatment Court program is to be respected. It takes great courage and strength to take steps to better yourselves, and you should be proud of all that you have accomplished through the program. As an Air Force veteran, I know the impact that military service has on our lives, and I greatly appreciate your sacrificial service. I would also like to thank Judge Green, not only for his service to this court and the veterans of Cobb County, but for his service as a U.S. Marine. The issues facing our veterans are very important to me, and I'm proud to see courts like this working to give our veterans the assistance they deserve. It is an honor to serve you in Congress, and on behalf of the 11th Congressional District, please accept my congratulations on this remarkable achievement. Sincerely, Barry Loudermilk, Member of Congress.
Okay, now the part that we're really here for, to recognize Willis Hatfield Rivas and Brandon Musser. Flynn Brody would come on up here, our coordinator. These two men have come a long way in the program. I've watched them since day one in this program. Mr. Willis Hatfield Rivas came to us from Cobb County Drug Court. He initially started in the drug court, and he did that back in August of 2013. When we started the Veterans Court, he came over into the Veterans Court. When he was initially in the drug court, he had kind of a tough time. He kind of struggled in the drug court. Since he's come to us, I feel like he's really found his way, and he's really found his purpose, I think, in life going forward. Mr. Brandon Musser came to Veterans Court in September of 2014 and really hasn't looked back. He's had some major positive life changes over the course of this program, including getting married and having a child, and we're just so very proud of both of these. Mr. Brody, of course, our Veterans Court coordinator, he's going to introduce each of the graduates and tell you a little bit about their military service. Then they will have the opportunity to address the audience, and their mentor and sponsor, if they're here and would like to address the audience, they may as well. And then any family or friends or any of the other participants or mentors that want to address the graduate, you may do so as well. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Brody to introduce Mr. Hatfield first. Mr. Hatfield Rivas.
You know, this is a great day today. Today being May 13th is a special day for me. And the reason for that is because 5 years ago, a veteran committed suicide that belonged to me. And so when I came over to Veterans Court and had an opportunity to help vets, I wanted this day so bad. And so I'm so glad to be able to introduce to you our graduates. First, Mr. Willis Hatfield Rivas. He joined the Army's Delayed Entry Program at the age of 17, just a senior in high school. He graduated from local Lassiter High School in May of 2004, and shortly thereafter left for basic training at Fort Benning, Georgia. After basic training, he went to individual advanced training at Fort Gordon, Georgia, and then from there he went on to airborne school. He studied to be an avionics communication specialist. And for all those grunts, we know that how important it is to be able to talk to the air. Upon completion of airborne school, he went to his first permanent duty station at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, and where he was assigned to the 82nd Combat Aviation Brigade. From Fort Bragg, he would complete 2 combat tours, serving as a helicopter crew chief for both Black Hawk and Chinook helicopters. He was assigned to elements that included Special Operations Troops. In 2006 and 2007, he found himself in Iraq, Mosul, Anbar Province, and in 2009-2010, he found himself in Kandahar, Afghanistan. His veteran mentor is Bill Craig. Mr. Craig served as an enlisted Marine. He also did a combat tour in Vietnam. I'd like to present to you our first graduate, Mr. Willis Hatfield Rivas. If you can come forward with your mentor.
I'm really excited. 2013, it's been a long struggle. First off, I want to thank my higher power that I've recently come to learn to trust and love. And I want to thank the Veterans Court staff and team. They've completely changed my life around. When I got released from prison in 2012 at Fort Leavenworth, I was homeless. My grandfather passed away the day that I got released. And I was waiting on my DD-214 to be discharged from the military. And for those 2 years, I was completely just lost in my addiction. Didn't have anywhere to go, and I wound up in Cobb County's detention center. And it's been a long time coming, and I personally want to thank Miss Christy Garrett that I met in drug court. She's the one who personally told me that I needed to get help through the vet center. And that completely changed my whole life, you know. And once I started receiving help from the vet center and the VA, I realized that I had other problems other than my drug addiction, which was PTSD and major depression. It was really hard because I would deal with the problems of being in Iraq and Afghanistan and all the things that I've done, and I would use my prescription medications to numb the pain. And that's the problem that a lot of us are running into now in today's time, is the prescription pain medications are there to not only address your pain, but they address emotional pain. And I was using that and ended up getting addicted to it. It wasn't until 2014 when I was in drug court that the drug court program was really taxing and really hard for me. because I didn't have any peers to relate to what I've been through and what I was going through. And that's when I attempted to commit suicide. And I ended up in the VA hospital. And I was just following the path that my father did. My father was in the Vietnam War, and he was a veteran, and he committed suicide in 2011. So I figured that was the only outcome of being a veteran, you know, having the problems that I was having. But Veterans Court gave me a second chance to be able to get things right with my mind and the choices that I needed to make. I was in survival mode, but now I'm actually living my life. I'm a personal trainer and a certified nursing assistant now. And I'm also a current student at Chattahoochee Technical College. I found a new purpose, a new passion for healthcare, and and the love that I received from my family, my grandmother, my aunt, my mom, my girlfriend, my sister, they're all here to witness this day. And this graduation is more for my family than it is for me. I realized that when I was in my addiction, I was completely numb to the world and I was a burden, but now I'm here to help. And they've taught me how to love and trust others to help me help others. And with that, I just want to thank my family, thank everybody for coming out, to the participants in the program. Keep your head up, always look at the tree line, and just stay focused on where you want to be and where you're going. And this program not only did change my life, but it gave me life. It's like I'm born again. I have a new set of principles to live behind. And I want to thank my sponsor, who wasn't able to make it today. He's in South Carolina. But talking to my sponsor, who is also a veteran, daily to help deal with the daily dramas of everything that I've gone through. And to the participants, your sponsor, your mentor, Mr. Bill Craig, he was always there. I just couldn't believe that somebody would just volunteer to help a veteran that messed up in life. And the love that he gave me allowed me to be able to trust others. And Mr. Craig, I just personally want to thank you for everything you've done. He would take me to lunch. He would, call and check up on me. I would call him. There was never a time I did not call and he did not answer. And this veterans program is just giving me the chance that I need to really succeed. Judge Reuben Green would always say I was an overachiever, but it's because I have a purpose now, and I have this court system that's giving me fire to want to do the right things for the right reasons in life. Because when you have a criminal mind, you learn to trust nobody, and you don't want to receive help from anybody. But now I've been helped so much that I'm able to help others, and I think I thanked everybody, and it's been an amazing day, and I just can't wait to come back to the next graduation and be a part of the alumni program here at the Veterans Court. And it's a community that helped raise me, because man, it was really tough being homeless, addicted, and just not having anybody. But now I have a whole strong support system that's there for me to be able to pick me up when I was down. And now I'm part of something bigger than myself, like I was when I was in the military. And that right there is just completely priceless. And thank you for allowing me to share.
Willis is a hard act to follow. There we go. Senator, judges, commissioners, all the distinguished guests. You know, being a Vietnam veteran, and I've joined different veterans organizations over the years, the Marine Corps League, the Atlanta Vietnam Veterans Business Association, disabled veterans here in Marietta. And of all the times that I've been there in these different organizations helping other fellow veterans, when I joined the Veterans Court almost 2 years ago, I never thought that taking this adventure with Willis would be the most rewarding time in my life as far as the accomplishment and everything that I've seen Willis accomplish. With the help of Judge Green, all the Veterans Court staff, Mr. Brody, everyone that's been a part of this, all the mentees, all the mentors, everyone that's been associated with this, as you can see, it's been a very rewarding, not only for me, Major Howerton, everybody, Brandon, Pete, and the list goes on and on. But again, I want to thank you for being part of Willis's graduation. I want to thank Willis for being part of my life. His family, who I just met today, his girlfriend. Willis, you don't do too bad. But I would like to say to Judge Green, and it's always a kind of a daily, well, not every Friday that we were in court, was that he would always comment on Willis's attire, his dress. Willis, you look sharp. Willis, you're the best dressed mentee in the court. He never would recognize me. Never. No matter what I dress like, whether it was without a tie or anything else. And today I come to court in my best suit and tie, thinking I was going to really look good and outdo Willis, and look at him. I'm telling you. But anyway, I couldn't help that. But again, thank you, Judge Green. I think the Veterans Court has outdid anything I've ever been associated with. And like I said, I've dealt with other organizations and veterans throughout the state of Georgia at least. And my wife and I are going to a convention this weekend, or today rather, the Marine Corps League State Convention, and be with my fellow Marines and do the things that we do. So again, my hat's off to Willis, and I salute you.
Any other family or friends? Anybody else want to address the graduate? Any family or friends or other mentors or participants? Now's your chance, or forever hold your peace. You can actually do it from there, or you can come to the microphone, whatever you're more comfortable with.
I talk kind of low, so.
Okay, please.
Yes. I just want to say that I am very proud of my son, that he's made it this far. It was not very easy, because sometimes he would just struggle with, Mom, I don't think I can make it, or whatever. And it's been a hard road for all of us. When my son went into the service, when he came home, it wasn't the same person. And I just want to say thank you to the Veterans Court, to Judge Green, to his mentor. You don't know how proud we are of our child here today. Willis had to go through a lot of obstacles when he came home. His father did commit suicide, and he was not able to attend the funeral. And then the day he did come home, his grandfather passed away, and his wife that he was married to divorced him. And then he went to Afghanistan twice. So he had a long way to go. We did not know that he was had a drug problem or anything, but we soon found out. And we didn't have a male companion or anyone in the household to help him. So it was really on me and my mom, and it was very, very hard to get him to go into some type of program, because he was like, oh, I'm the man of the house now, and we were like telling him, no, you're not. You're gonna have to prove that to us, honey. But he was never really homeless. He just made himself homeless because we were not gonna put up with a lot. And when he first went into drug court, we thought, okay, well now maybe, he was gonna get some help, but it kept getting kind of worse. And so finally I just had to put my foot down and say, look, either you're gonna end up dead or back in prison or whatever. I said, you're gonna have to do something. So he finally got convinced to go, and when he went into veterans, and then he went into veterans court, it was just a miracle. We saw the transformation, like Judge Green said, on, just his success. And like I told him last night, I said, even though you graduate today, do not think that it's the end. I said, you've got a long way to go. This is the beginning. So I just want to say thank you, son, for sticking with it and getting through it. We got a long way to go, but we're all here for you, okay? And we're not going to let you fall again. Thank you all.
Our second graduate is Brandon Musser. Mr. Musser joined the Marine Corps Delayed Entry Program a few days after turning 18 and graduating from Northeastern High School in Manchester, Pennsylvania. He had to wait until he was 18 because his parents refused to sign for him at 17. He entered active duty on November 17, 2003, completed his boot camp with all the sand fleas at Parris Island. Next, he went to the School of Infantry to become an 0311 Basic Infantryman at Camp Geiger, North Carolina. After completing the School of Infantry, Mr. Musser's permanent duty station would become Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. He would serve with the 3rd Battalion, 8th Marines Lima Company. He deployed to Haiti for Operation Secure Tomorrow and did 2 combat tours in Iraq's Anbar province, 2005 in Fallujah, 2006 in Ramadi, where most of the worst fighting in Iraq occurred. Mr. Musser would deploy once more in 2007 aboard the ship of Mediterranean Sea with the 22 MEU, which is the Marine Expeditionary Unit. He left the Marine Corps April 17th in 2008. His mentor is Peter Verjan. He's a retired Army colonel who also is a combat vet, having served in Kosovo, Kuwait, Iraq, and Afghanistan. Mr. Musser, Mr. Verjan, if you can come up and accept your graduation certificate.
I think it was said best in song by a late country singer, said, I fought the law and the law won. And I thank Christ that the law did win. He took, through my darkest hour, let's say Jesus was able to show me his infinite mercy. And it started with in the criminal justice system. What could have been just the end really became the beginning. I'm forever grateful to the Honorable Judge Green and the Veterans Court, also to former DA Grady Moore. My attorney had spoke with Mr. Moore. They decided that instead of me returning to prison, they decided it was more acceptable for me to be part of this program. I'm very grateful that they made that decision. So I don't know where I'd have been I know where I would have been had I not. And It's not a place I wanted to be. I'm very grateful for the Colonel to be here. It's always an honor to be in the presence of somebody who represents our military. Thank you, sir. Again, thank you to Judge Green. I was sitting in Atlanta Penitentiary wondering when I was being prepared to be released from federal custody to be handed over to the custody of Cobb County. And when I was leaving, sitting in Atlanta, wondering how was I going to do when I got out. I suffered badly with alcoholism. I used alcohol as a coping method so that way I wouldn't try to feel I suffered with PTSD and used alcohol to not feel. I didn't like feeling anything. And alcohol was a way to numb it. When I was getting ready to leave Atlanta Penitentiary, I was wondering, how am I not going to drink? Well, thankfully, Judge Green had that answer. Minimum of 3 AA meetings a week, minimum 2 drug screens a week. And if I did not comply, he had an answer for that as well. I'm just very grateful for the opportunity that this court has provided me. I'm very grateful for my wife, who has stuck by me in spite of knowing all my flaws. She has loved me despite them. I'm grateful to Mr. Varian, who's my mentor, and also another dear friend of mine, Ken McNeely, who has been there, helped me with a lot through this court and with recovery. I have not forgotten anybody. I'm grateful to the VA and the vet, also to the local Marietta Vet Center. The counselors at the local vet center, they're just instrumental in the helping and just care so much for the helping of vets. They're a wonderful program and a wonderful group of people there. I wish Judge Green the best going forward in the Cobb County Veterans Court. I know it'll do well with a Marine at the helm. Thank you, everyone, for this opportunity.
Well, Brandon, we made it, right? First, I'd just like to say how proud I am of him, of how he tackled this entire process. I mean, there was never a day that he didn't just get up and say, I'm going to go and do what I need to do, my drug screening, or go to court. And he was always the first one to say, are you going to court today? And he wanted to be here. He wanted to be part of this program. Whether it be for his education. You know, he started at Chattahoochee Tech. Have we finished?
June 6th, I graduated.
June 6th, graduation. And, whether it be starting his family, and Dixie has truly been by his side. We had a wonderful, as some of you were here, wedding ceremony here at the courthouse. He has a brand new baby, and so I know there's a lot of positive things in his life. And he just took it day by day and was very positive. In fact, we were saying before, I don't think I've ever really seen him upset or anxious about all this. He had a purpose in life, and he knew he was going to do it. Second of all, I too want to say thanks to Judge Green and all the folks in the courthouse who have really put a lot of effort into this. To Bill Howerton and all the mentors and mentees. You know, what this really is what makes it unique is we are continuing the values and the experiences that we've had as a military organization. And it truly is what it is. Especially the values of teamwork, because none of this could be done without everybody helping and every day somebody chipping in and doing something. And so it's a true teamwork. And the other thing is we leave no one behind. So regardless of the challenges, the setbacks, the progress, we truly will leave no one behind in this. And that's something that's very unique to our military values. And I'd say the final thing is I have absolutely no worries about where he is going. Because he is, first of all, he's got the dedication. He has seen the way that he wants to be. And he has all the support, not only of the court even after he leaves, but of all the mentees and mentors that he's built relationships with, his wife and family, that we got to meet at the wedding a little bit too, and they're going up, in fact, they're leaving 5 minutes from now, and they're heading out to Pennsylvania to be with his family so they can see his grandkids. But he knows he's got all of us, and so I wanted to say thank you to Brandon for this incredible experience. You've made it work. I know you'll continue to make it work, and thanks to all of you for both being here and being so supportive of him over all this time. Thank you very much.
Any other family or friends or sponsors or anybody else that wants to say a word? The graduates?
I can't say a whole lot without crying, but I just want to say how proud I am of Brandon and Willis. It's not an easy road that you guys went down, none of it, and you did it great, and with class and style, and I want to thank you all to the Veterans Court for not giving up on these ladies and gentlemen that needed help. You're all a blessing.
So I told myself this morning that as a Marine I'm not going to cry up here, so I'm going to try not to do that. But you see these two lives and where they are now and how much they've changed over the course of this program. This is an opportunity for each of you participants to have this same kind of change in your life. I've seen a lot of you progress in this program, and I've seen dramatic changes in your lives. Sometimes you lose sight of that when you're right in the middle of it, but you all are really making wonderful strides forward, and you all can have the same success that these two great men are having. I want to thank everybody that's here, and I want to thank everybody that's helped to establish this Veterans Court. This is an opportunity to make a difference in veterans' lives each and every day, and that's what we're doing, and you see it here today with these two exceptional men. Two good men are returning to our community today. They've got a new sense of pride and purpose, and I think that's something that each and every one of us that supports veterans in this room can be proud of. So I hope you'll leave with that thought. We are going to have a reception to follow in the back, so feel free to help yourself to the goodies. That concludes the program. Congratulations, graduates.